Hi, I'm talking today to Hannah Foxley. Hannah is a UK women's financial wealth expert. Hi Hannah, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks Hannah. Hannah, today we're talking about women and in particular divorce advice. Do you think that as women we should plan ahead financially while we're still in the marriage for something unplanned like divorce?
Absolutely. The problem I find with speaking to many women who are married is that they tend to leave everything up to their husbands, thinking that their husbands will have everything sorted out and look after them. And sometimes that isn't the case. The man might have gone and got his own protection, but there's nothing in place for the wife anyway. And sadly, in this country, nearly half of marriages end in divorce. So if if a woman was then to get divorced, you quite often will find that she's left high and dry with no protection in place for herself, no retirement planning in place, and left in a very scary situation. So it's absolutely vital that women have their own financial planning in place.
If we are stay-at-home wives, mothers, what should we know about the family finances?
You should know whether or not there's protection in place for you, because if you're a stay-at-home mum looking after the children and your husband is the main breadwinner, what would happen if you were to get critically ill or be long-term sick and unable to look after the children? There will be costs involved there with childcare or the husband having to take time off work. So it's vitally important that you're protected first of all in that situation. And also, you should have an understanding and a grip on what is going on with the family finances. What does your husband earn? What are the household outgoings? What plans has he got in place for you and for your future? Has he got any pension put in place for you? You really do need to understand what is happening with the family finances and just not completely rely on your husband, because if heaven forbid, there's the issue around divorce, but if heaven forbid anything else happened to him, and suddenly you're left with having to deal with bereavement and the family finances, having never done anything about it before, it's going to just add a huge amount of stress to an already awful situation.
If I'm going through a divorce, how can you step in and help me in that process?
I can help work with your lawyers on the financial side of things. So first of all, going back to pensions, if your husband has been the main breadwinner and been building up a pension, then it's important to understand what the value of that pension asset is. Quite often, that's the most valuable part of the overall assets, other than the property. And the transfer values that are given by the pension providers quite often don't take into consideration the future value of that pension fund. So it's really important to have professional advice around that. And lawyers are not allowed to give financial advice around pensions. So that's the first element. The second element is just understanding the various different assets that are part of the marriage. So your husband may earn a lot of money and have lots of different assets that you probably don't understand. I can explain them all to you and what they do. I can explain whether it would be easy to cash those assets in or not. So it may be a case that it's not suitable for you to take some of his assets because it will be difficult for you to realise the value of them. I can also help the lawyer to calculate your future income needs using cash flow analysis software so that we can make sure you get an accurate settlement that will last you throughout your lifetime. And then once the settlement has been given and the divorce is finished, I can help just hold your hand through the financial process. So help you with budgeting, help you with the pension fund to ensure it's invested correctly, ensure that your settlement is invested in the right way so that it lasts you throughout the rest of your life. And also another important thing is to ensure if your husband is going to be paying you a maintenance payment, that maintenance payment has got protection around it in case he is ill or dies, so that you're not left high and dry suddenly with no maintenance payment because he's not around to pay it anymore. these are all vitally important parts of the financial process in the divorce, and it just helps to take the stress and worry away from you so that you can deal with all the other awful emotional aspects that you have to deal with.
What do you think is the most important financial cover or protection women should know about to protect themselves from any unplanned situations?
I think as part of a divorce, as I said, it's really important to ensure that the maintenance payments are protected. So the policy would have to be set up on the life of the husband or the ex-husband, so that if he's ill, the income would still be paid, or if he was to die, the income would still be paid, or suffer critical illness. And women should ensure that they just have their own protection as well, so that if something happens to them, that there's protection in place. They also need to make sure that there's a will and what's known as a lasting power of attorney in place, particularly if they've got children, to ensure that there are procedures in place for looking after those children should anything happen. It may be that the children wouldn't go to the husband, they may go to a family member. So it's important that there's something put in place. So all of these areas need to be considered very carefully, and I can help with that.
Thank you, Hannah. Thank you so much for talking to me today.
You're welcome.